Normal Redditors that dated a celebrity, what was it like? A fairly close acquaintance of mine at the time went on a few dates with Natalie Portman when they were both at Harvard around 2002. He said she was exceptionally down-to-earth, genuine, and very engaging. Rosario Dawson liked 2 of my tweets once, so you could say it was getting pretty serious. Not a date, per se, but I had a nice quiet dinner with Samantha Fox in her hotel room in Toronto in the 80s. She was in town for a show and I was attached to her security detail. She asked me to eat with her because she didn't want to go out but hated eating alone. Sweet girl, kinda sad too. Lonely. My mom had a dinner date with George Clooney in the 90s. She didn't really say much apart from the fact that he's an interesting and charismatic guy, but she honestly didn't think he was going to blow up. Back when they were still a small bar band, my mother had drinks with the Cult. The lead singer had told her he was in a band, but she didn't believe him. So when they played Wildflower that night, he dedicated the song to her. A family friend's mom went clubbing with Lady Gaga. Afterwards, Gaga asked if she knew who she was. Friend's mom had no idea. My aunt lived down the street from Leonardo DiCaprio when she was a kid. He was her first kiss, she was 12, he was 13, it was behind the school gym. Apparently he was a really nice kid. She moved away before he started landing roles, totally lost touch. My aunt kissed Gordon Lightfoot in a bathroom at one of his concerts. I'm guessing there was probably more, but she didn't elaborate. R. Kelly asked me on a date in the mid-90s. I declined because I had a boyfriend at the time. Besides, I was too old for him lol. I have a family friend who dated Daniel Radcliffe. I was 7 at the time they dated, and a huge Harry Potter fan. I don't remember much aside from the fact that he was a really sweet guy. On my 8th birthday, my family friend told Daniel it was my birthday and he texted me a personal happy birthday message despite never having met me. Absolutely made it the best birthday ever. That little monster kid from the first Mad Max lived next door to us as kids and constantly chased my sister around trying to kiss her. My mom lived in Key West in the early mid-80s. She dated Sting for a while. He had a really nice yacht and they went on a sailing trip during which he realized my mom is psycho, she is. He ended it right after. Sometimes to duck with my dad I'll start singing Roxanne or Message in a Bottle. My mom was really good friends with Andre the Giant, Andre Rene Roussimoff, because he used to frequent her place of work. According to her, he was the sweetest, most gentle man she ever met in her life. She misses him. I dated Flux Pavilion for 7 years. It was great. So we got married in January. I enjoy my own company, so the touring isn't really a problem. Not me, but my aunt dated Weird Al Yankovic when she was in her mid-20s. I wasn't alive back then, but my family tells me he was a genuinely funny person in a way you wouldn't very much expect. I can't personally give any examples, but my dad and aunt have plenty of stories. One of my much older cousins actually has a signed guitar that Al played within a live show. My aunt and Al met from my dad being a radio DJ as a teenager, and he met a lot of celebrities through that. Mostly 90 and early 2000s pop and country stars, but anyways, the station my dad worked at threw Weird Al a birthday party, and my aunt just happened to be there, and they ended up together for a decent amount of time. Every once in a while Al will come into town to say hi to her. Even though they aren't together, they are still friends. And no, Al isn't cheating on his wife with my aunt. My aunt's a strong married Christian, and I'm more than 100% sure she wouldn't do that. One of these days I might end up meeting him, which I think would be pretty cool. My uncle is a ski instructor in Northern California and had a coffee date with Pink. This thread has taught me that as an aunt I really need to up my dating game so my nibblings will have better stories. Dated a famous player on the Giants. Ego was huge. Eggplant was huge. Date was intimidating, sex was disappointing. He paid for my Uber 2 hours away lol. My aunt was married to Van Morrison briefly. Here they are together on this album artwork. No interesting stories that I could remember. They were in love but he was always gone so it didn't work out. I was told that he would play guitar for the fam on Christmas get-togethers. One of my dad's close friends is Jim Carrey's first wife. Apparently he turned into kind of a dick when he got famous. Schocktung, I know. I remember a decade or so again when their grown kids band was trying to make a living with their music. She really wanted Jim to help them get bookings and stuff and he was all they need to make it on their own. Then he got a new girlfriend who told him to help his kid out and he did. First wife is still salty about that. Friend of mine dated Brad Pitt in college. 2 or 3 dates if I remember correctly. I went to a different school, but remember meeting him when I went to visit my friend. How do normal people even get the chance to date celebrities? Because I kinda have a celebrity crush on someone who I believe is in my league. I dated a girl who went on to be a sort of alternative porn star. We were both 17-18, and she was really nice and we got on really well, but she was almost too obsessed with sex even then. The second time we hung out, she gave me a blowjob in a graveyard. Like, it really couldn't get more emo. And yes, it really was that good. We broke up and kind of lost contact and then I found out she was doing porn. Think she only did it for a little while but it was certainly interesting when I found out. Posted this before. Not really a celebrity and I did not know when we first met that she was semi-infamous. I had a brief friendship/relationship with a former porn star. She was a really nice woman and when I was aware of her fame it did not cause any problems. Every now and then someone would go wide-eyed when they saw her. Men tended to just look and if they had friends they would point her out to them. Women were much more upfront, they would say things like I loved that scene with you and whatever guys and they would usually say a particular position that was their favorite. That even happened when we were sitting together having lunch. Jonah Hill awkwardly slid me his number when I worked in a hotel he was staying at. We went to coffee once and he got super clingy. Asked me for nudes every day. I was 20 and a virgin. He wanted to throw me a 21st birthday party in Palm Springs and when I politely declined he turned real nice guy. He wasn't even funny. My aunt went on a date with Jimmy Buffett. She said he picked her up, stopped at a gas station, bought a jar of pickles and then drove to the beach. They ate pickles and he took her home. My college roommate's cousin I believe, went on a date, maybe multiple dates, with Armie Hammer before he blew up in the social network and apparently he forgot all about the dates they went on and when he tried to reintroduce himself to her at another encounter, she said something along the lines of I know, we used to date. Pretty sure the guy is married now. My friend's aunt went on a blind date with Gerard Butler, circa 300, the movie, not the year. There was a big miscommunication, because he was looking for a hookup and she's a kindly French-Canadian woman in her 50s, but they both had a laugh about it and enjoyed supper with each other. She said he was very kind, and very muscular. Didn't date but I made out with Shiloh, the girl who sang that Operator Operator Don't Call Me I'll Call You Later song. I've been seeing her online lately because of her relationship on Nissian. My cousin was hit on by Shaq at a festival. When she pointed out that he was married, he allegedly said I'm Muslim. I'm allowed to have many wives. When I was a teenager my friend said she dated one of the Backstreet Boys, but she was lying. So I just cut out the middleman for you. I matched with Chloe Moretz on Bumble once but then I said I liked her in Dark Shadows and she ghosted. My college roommate and best friend became YouTube famous over the years. It has been really odd to watch it happen. I've been on trips with her, gone to conventions, seen fans cry over her, and cry over me, which is even odder, and it's a weird balance of totally normal and totally abnormal. When we go out to lunch, sometimes she'll get a fan or two that ask for a picture, but it has changed the way she views the world. Every time she leaves the house, it is stressful for her. She's always worried about how she's looking or acting. She's always been a sweet girl, so she really doesn't have much to worry about, but she stresses so much about being her best self to everyone she meets because you never know who knows her and who doesn't. She's terrified of anyone having anything but a 100% positive experience with her. It can really wear on a person to not be able to let that go. And yes, YouTube famous may not be what Op had in mind, but I'm sure this applies elsewhere. The loss of anonymity is brought up often with celebrity, but I didn't really understand it till I saw her go through it myself. Probably too late for this, but about 15 years ago, when the show The Simple Life, with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie was popular, I made out with Paris Hilton at a nightclub in Baltimore. Essentially, they were filming them doing all sorts of random jobs around the country and staying with local families, all for the culture clash laughs. One of those families ended up being my friend and her family. Being a close friend, and a well-known admirer of Paris at the time, I was invited over and got to hang with her and Nicole Richie a good amount while they were in town. Both of them were super sweet, and a lot smarter than they played for the camera. Paris was a great kisser, and this story is always a hit with my friends. A few months later, her phone was hacked and nudes were leaked. My number was in her phone book and I got spammed with prank calls from 4chan, or something. I imagine it was a lot worse for anyone who was actually famous. Anyhow, basically lost total contact after that. But still a fun story. Is a one-night fling considered dating these days? I unknowingly went out with a former porn star a few times. She never really talked about her past work. I didn't find out until I was doing research online. It is weird feeling seeing someone you went out with getting ducked by 8 or 9 random dudes. When I lived in Ireland, a girl I went to college with dated David Tennant for a bit. Said he was super sweet. This one's current, so I'm not naming names, a co-worker/mentor is besties with a group of Broadway stars, several of whom are now big-name movie and TV stars. He knew them before their rise to stardom. He and one of the stars jokingly flirt with each other, but honestly, they'd make such a gorgeous couple that I wish it weren't a joke. I'm waiting for the day I get the news of their engagement. My cousin's half-sister is married to a guy who starred in a few Lifetime movies about 15 years ago and was a Kohl's catalog model. He now works for her dad's insurance company and takes Instagram pictures of his wife and their average-looking child, daily. Nice guy, to be fair. Years ago at a hotel bar party I saw Elisha Cuthbert sent a bottle of vodka to her table. Upon learning it was me who sent it, she motioned me over to her table. Promptly asked me if I was a drug dealer. Told me I was dressed like a bum. And sent me back to my table with my bottle of vodka. That was my date with Elisha. I guess we just weren't meant to be. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.